Well, I don't know if this video is going to be interesting to people or not, but tell you what, I've been getting so freaking involved in this. I was trying to find out who my great-great-grandmother was, and I was like looking into. Now I know everybody has a lot of different great-great-grandmothers, depending on which family line you go down, right? But I was looking for the one that was who got pregnant by the Duke, and I never knew. I knew about the Duke, but then I started by process of elimination. There's only one Duke it could have been, possibly even remote. It's like you could. I didn't realize what English peerage was. I understand it. I knew like the Duke was pretty high up, and I knew that. But now I know. I just realized what it is: Duke, Marquis, then Earl, then Viscount, and Baron. I did not, realize exactly. But I just kept looking at the information and says, no, it could be Edward. It couldn't be Edward. I says, wait a minute. I'm looking at this stuff actually literally. Sometimes I'm going overnight through the whole night to 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting so engrossed in this. I've been doing this for the last few weeks. And I'm like, this is not her too, but it's another courtesan. But they had a lot of courtesans back in the Victorian age. Man, it's so funny how you think the Victorian age was the age of, so much virtue and everything's all covered up and everything went on the same way back then as it went on today, or it doesn't matter, it's just that, I guess, the appearance in society was different. But anyway, when I was looking into Madame Giuliana Benelli, she's better known as Barucci, she won favor for her sultry Italian looks and I know that this is the only one I found with that I could find officially in documents that was with the Duke that was Italian. He had a lot of affairs, and I started thinking, well, she's a prostitute. Why would she get pregnant? That didn't make any sense. But then there's other things that lead me to believe she did, and there's other things in here like I could tell you that. I don't know. I mean, it's all conjecture in this part. I know about the Duke. I know it's got to be Edward, 100% all the way. But I don't know who the mother is. And now I'm starting to think, although I don't know about who the mother is, maybe it is her. I don't know. But this got so interesting to me because I was looking and because I'm trying to actually order books on, where the Duke was and all this stuff because I got to pinpoint it pretty well. But let me... basically, they had a story in here where she met the Duke, and she kept him on. She kept him waiting 45 minutes, not by accident. But then when she showed up, she basically pulled up the back of her dress and showed her ass and everything. And it was like, would you not tell me to behave properly to His Royal Highness? I showed him the best that I have, and it was free. So she was a wild chick, She ran away when she was 15 with a gypsy, and she went to Paris. She ran away from Rome when she was 15 when she was a gypsy, and she went to Paris. And actually, she got so much money from, being a prostitute, and that the palace that she built with her money is still there to today. But she died in 1870 of tuberculosis at age 33. She also told an army colonel that she would only sleep with him if he would parade naked in front of her house. So what he did was he got on his horse naked at the head of his troops, and he marched him in front of his house while he was on a horse naked. I guess the troops are cheering him on. Yeah, go get her, and I guess that was the deal. So back when hetero was the freaking thing. But, I don't know. There were all crazy things going on. Bisexual women, all kinds of stuff, man, in the Victorian age. But the thing is, now, this is not her, too. It's just another courtesan. I don't know. I mean, it was just like... But, it was kind of interesting. You look at, another things that he had set up was that... Because I was digging into this stuff so much, I was like, wow. How did they arrange for, rendezvous and stuff? But basically, tea time was the time for sex. That was the other thing. They had the special dresses that looked like, you couldn't get access to with, a pair of, a whole bunch of upholstery shears or something, but they had ways to get in there. They had special slits, and they had everything cut for easy access and all this type of stuff. And they knew about birth control, very especially in France in the 1800s. Now, the thing is with see, where I was thinking first, well, she's a madam, right? She's Madam Julia Beneni, La Barucci. We'll call her La Barucci, right? Yeah, I think, at first I was thinking, well, it's a long shot that she would have gotten pregnant because she's a prostitute, courtesan, madam, and that's bad for business, they don't get, no prostitutes like getting pregnant. But then, this is the other thing I picked up on. She saved hordes of letters and stacks of letters and hordes of photographs. Photography was a brand new technology in the 1860s, but, they had the big bucks, you know what I mean, from all the clients. And she had a file of all the top people. And like I said, she was billed as the greatest whore in the entire world. And if she made that much money that fast, because she ran away from Rome when she was 15 and got, she had to, by the time she was 25, she had enough wealth that, the place was, it's still there. I don't know where it is. I'd like to find out what the heck the place is. I don't even know if this is her, but it might be. The place, I'm leaning towards it right now, because I know Edward would have definitely visited her. And the fact that she had stacks of letters and reams of photographs, that means there was a relationship that was going on a long time, because in one of the things that Edward wrote, he was worried about trouble coming from that area in France because of her. And what happened was, she died of tuberculosis, but you never know, man. You never know what could happen, even when they die, man. I don't even know. A lot of things, he died of tuberculosis. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. That's conspiracy theory 101 or 99 or whatever that is. But the women back then I think they were crazy. Well, they're crazy today, but they're not, I don't know what it is, but it's not much that changed. It's like no matter how they freaking try to change human nature, they can't change it. That's just how human nature is, But the figuring that she kept all that information on him, and then her brother tried to bribe him later on. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. And the other thing is, I know my great-grandfather, he grew up in Italy about 15 miles from France. Like they spoke a French-Italian. So she was Italian, she's living in France, and he never really knew the real mother. And he was given up to another Italian family to grow up, but he looked like an Englishman all the way, That was the other thing. And actually, I look at the picture of my great grandfather and Edward. It's hard to say, but the thing is, when you have an illegitimate son that is in England and everybody looks English, that's one thing. But when you have an illegitimate son and it's in Italy, he's growing up in Italy, it's another thing, you know what I mean? But there was I don't have the documents, but there was documents. I know that because they definitely existed in the 30s from the illegitimate son, and my great uncle, who was a CPA in Manhattan, he had them. Then my uncle had the same documents. I don't know who's got them, or if they still exist, or they got thrown away or some shit. But I really got the story down. But I was always trying to figure out who the hell the mother could have been. And there's only one Italian courtesan that could have possibly have been. One Italian that is mentioned. But the thing is, he had numerous affairs, which I don't really care, whatever the hell he is. Actually, Bill Clinton has numerous affairs. Is that why I get mad at Bill Clinton? No. What I get mad at Bill Clinton is because he's too socialistic. But Edward was a conservative. So I don't know about Edward. Edward's all right, man. Edward's all right in my book. But anyway, he's a horny conservative, which is fine by me. But the thing is, I was looking at this information, and I says, well, it dawned on me that, well, it could really be her, because even though she was a madam courtesan prostitute, to get pregnant by him would be perfect for her. You know, if she kept photographs on him, all reams of photographs and letters, she was looking to get hooked up in the future somehow with him or something. You know what I mean? And so to have the baby was like a surefire way, if that's the situation. But it definitely could be. And I do know that my great-grandfather did not know his mother, and he grew up with a different set of Italian parents. He was like, had to be, and they gave him a separate last name because he was the son of a duke. They gave him a last name that does not exist in Italy anywhere. He was the first one that had it. Now there's more people than there's probably, I don't know, there's probably dozens of people with that name today because he had 8 kids by her, but his wife, you know, his wife. That was not Edward, but the illegitimate son. He had 8 kids by his wife. So there is that name around, you know what I mean, today. But that did originate it with him because he was the illegitimate son of a duke. But you know, I was always trying to figure out who the heck the mother could have been, but you know, being that I'm pretty good at sometimes finding stuff that other people can't find, I really can't prove this at all. I mean, you know, now that I really checked into some other things, even though it's like testimony from people, but you got to consider the source. The Edward thing is pretty damn solid. It's just that a lot of people didn't realize that he became king later on. They just knew he was a duke. They didn't even understand what duke meant. I did not understand fully what that meant. And you know, being that a few years ago they're saying that he's the son of Lionel Nathan Rothschild. I don't know if that's true or not, but that would make me. Was it my 3 greats grandfather Lionel Nathan Rothschild? Man, that's getting crazy. Man, that's weird. You know, but I tell you one thing: if people actually in the UK dug up their lineage, I think a large percentage of people in the UK could find some kind of relationship to some kind of nobility in the UK. And you know why that is? That's a good thing because that makes a lot of people in the UK more dedicated to the throne. Yeah, because it's kin, you know what I mean? So if like 15% of the UK has got some kind of indirect population. You know, even right now, I almost feel like, you know, hey, well, I don't know why, but I always, I realize the Alex Jones talk about, you know, the royal families. Well, that guy's a disinformation specialist to the max. But I know there's truth in stuff, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that we don't know. So I don't really like get bent out of shape one way or the other on anything because I really don't know the full picture. That's one thing. But I do know there's some serious Muslim extremists, and those guys make anybody in a royal family look like saints and choir people. So, but I have to say that, you know, this actually turns out it might be. And I don't even know if this is her picture or not because they say they don't even know if this is her. There might not be any pictures of her on the net or whatever. These are just famous courtesans that are on the net, but she would have been of this type of, you know, the beautiful Victorian courtesan. So, you know, right now women are concentrating on totally different things. It actually, you know, was kind of interesting that when I was reading in the Victorian age, women were like felt so bad about not being able to have a large family. It was like, it wasn't like it was their duty, it was like their will. They wanted to have a large family. It was a competition to have a large family. It was like something, building a palace was having a large family, like the same way. And today, I don't know what today the stuff's going on is brainwashing to the max, man. But, yeah, the same kind of, but it was kind of funny. There's some really juicy stories way back when. I might actually put some out about some of the more famous courtesans out there and things even that happened in the USA. You know, when you're talking about there was no women's rights, man, there was all kinds of women's rights as far as when it came into prostitution. The ones that really knew their stuff and they were good at it, they made a lot of money. Like La Barucci, I mean, she just ran away with the gypsy when she was 15 years old in Rome. She ran away with a gypsy, went to Paris. 10 years later, she's a multi-millionaire talking about it in the 1800s. The palace was made out of marble and alabaster and all this other stuff with the best artwork with different themed rooms depending on, what type of sex you wanted to have in whatever room and stuff. And she didn't get tuberculosis. She would have lived a long time probably. I don't know. But I don't even know about that TB stuff because, considering, well, if you'd have to be an idiot not to delve down Conspiracy Trail 101 a little bit because she was trying to make some trouble for the royal family there, I think. And who the hell knows? I mean, you definitely couldn't prove that, but wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. She ain't smart doing that kind of stuff. She was doing that kind of stuff. I can say that right now, man. But she kept a lot of papers on the Duke, letters and photographs, and I say, well, she knew him for some years, and she knew him in the exact time frame that my great-grandfather was born. So it's got me going on this. I don't know. I'm going to dig down some more trail on this stuff. Maybe I'll do another update. I'll probably never figure out who the hell the mother is. But, yeah, I might. Anyway, I'll tell you one thing, I still, somebody might make a moral judgment on her. I would think she's cool. I mean, but, she was out there to help men and make something for herself. I mean, she's a hell of a lot better woman than Hillary Clinton ever would be. She worked for her money. She didn't make speeches. So anyway, I did do a lot of research on this. Like I said, I've been up from. I mean, so many days I start on this stuff. I said, nah, I'm not going to freaking stay up all night doing this shit again. And I go right through the freaking. Not only did I go like to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's light out, and I'm going at it to 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm so freaking focused in on trying to find this information. That's usually how I even when I do the accounting stuff, I tear it up more than anybody could. You know what I mean? But this is just stuff I was doing. I was curious about, and actually, I have uncovered some things that people in my family probably would have never known. Because if that rumor is true about Lionel, I don't know if that's a rumor. I mean, I've heard stuff where they said secret files were released in 2012. Sealed files were released in 2012 that Nathan Lionel Rothschild was the actual father of Edward. I don't know. I mean, somebody says that. I don't know if that's real or what, but if it is, then hey, he's my 3 greats granddaddy, man. So, yo, granddaddy, what the hell, man? You got all kinds of freaking Rothschilds out there you didn't know about. How's that? And I'm a Confederate Rothschild and a Revolutionary War heritage Confederate Rothschilds besides. There's probably only one of them around. I could tell you that. I'm the black sheep of the family, man. I could tell you if I'm in there. Anyway, so this is getting crazy, man. And it's just like I figured I'd just throw it out here and share it because, I don't know, I'm kind of blown away by this shit because I was not looking to find something really crazy. And I found the Sons of the Revolution. I found a lost uncle in freaking California, and actually all that stuff from that linked up to the Sons of the Revolution on my father's side, that was not actually posted until 2010. That is why I never found it before, because it was on the grave registries, and they actually had the pictures, and it goes all the way back. So man, I'm like, what a weird freaking background. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. It's crazy as all hell. So, anyway, if you're watching this and you're drinking a beer or you're having some wine or whiskey, a toast to the courtesans of the Victorian age. I wish they were alive today, man. If they took a lot of vitamin C, keep all the STDs away, and they'd probably live longer than the guy that made the ark way back when, before the flood, Noah, 920 years old, and stay young and hot looking the whole time. So that's what you really want to do.